city, you don't have physical geographic barriers, but it can't be a private security thing. It is interesting. Maybe the Upper East Side just doesn't have any facilities that the unhoused would congregate towards. There's an idea. But it'll be so red pilling. Going to say Almaty. And you think of Kazakhstan as post-Soviet, maybe not as nice, blah blah. But I do suspect the city is kept in pretty nice condition. I don't think you have a trash issue. Anyway, it's not in as much of the city as you see in parts of U.S. cities. So I imagine the subway is nice. The subway is nicer than, well, turns out most subway systems are nicer than the MTA. Are those solar panels? Yeah, there's solar panels on that house. So if 90% of global subway systems, metro systems, so light rail and above ground transit, these power point metros, so anything said New York City subway is a misnomer. So if 90%, now which metro systems are grungier than the MTA? I can't really say. One of my charming TikTok account is a guy, and he does metro reviews. He does everything. He doesn't have a playlist, so it's been hard to memorize. But again, like Chris Arnaud, Beckography is the TikTok account where he, out of all his many geographic travel content, he also does subway reviews, which I find are pretty useful, genuinely. Part of that inspired the Santiago idea. Also cool, Santiago Hotel, Southern Side. I think I should be able to find a hotel for $20, or 25 a night, maybe 30 a night. Seems a bit less supply than Buenos Aires. Pretty close to Salvador, El Memorial de Salvador Allende. Of course, the democratically elected socialist president who was couped. So I think it's interesting how there isn't the explicit Cold War kind of memorials, but you do have the very just tangible legacy of that's cool. You need to have the steering wheel lock. That's interesting nuance. Although the windows aren't barred off, so interesting discoveries. Interesting observations. Well, yeah, but the point is, the state of the MTA is not a universal fact, but more so a not a design choice, but a condition that could be different. But for whatever reason, it has been chosen to not be addressed or fixed or something to try to work against. Again, it's a choice to have nice things. And I think the fact that many other places in the world of lower development have nicer social conditions, it just shows that It is a choice. It is a choice to have to optimize for certain lowest common denominators. It's a choice that everybody has to suffer degraded public goods. But again, pros and cons. And again, the platonic ideal. Just be rich, bro. Just be rich, and you'll never have to see an unhoused person again. Now, if you're a brokey, sure, you might have to. But that's alright. Alright. Right. Oh, crap. Well, I was supposed to say I'm not really in the mood to talk about whine about dating stuff. It'll be... I'll finally get off my soapbox. Man. Any other things? Buenos Aires. So 7 days. What's the idea? 1 day in La Plata, the suburbs, to do my little vanity tour of going to the edge. 1 day there. 1 day walking around Tigre, San Isidro, in the top. 1 day I want to do a football Racing Club to La Bombonera de Boca and hang out in that area 1 day. So kind of in terms of structure, I've got 3 days at some point of things that I want to do. Otherwise, I think I can just play it by ear. Just go where I want. There's actually a pretty cool cemetery, apparently. It's very dense. It has a lot of interesting things. Like there's a Romeo and Juliet tragedy type of thing for a girl. But again, the big goal is I only eat 2 meals a day, and Los Estados Unidos, and mi vida normal. But I think I'll make an exception for 3 meals a day. Maybe, apparently, or one thing. I'll let you decide if I give off Latin vibes. But conceptually, certainly, whatever your assessment of that, the one thing I would sincerely struggle with a lot is how late things can drag on. I'm very much more of a morning person. And so eating late, doing things late, for me, I would have a tough time with that setup. Again, lame is the fair response to that. I can't refute that. But yeah, the hotel out of these. So 2 different hotels, 5 nights and 2 nights. And so certainly the first hotel's close to the subway, to this, I'm not sure what you would call it, El Metro, but it should be nice to bounce around. So again, if a big mistake is trying to over plan and overfit things, that just sets you up for disappointment when your schedule goes off tilt. This, again, by the broader concept, if you spend a lot of money and the experience is not as good, you'll feel disappointed. And the same thing for having a super designed plan, regimented, and then you have to go scramble, and then you're feeling panicked. No need for that, man. No need at all for that. So go with the flow, bro. Your everyday life is very regimented with your job. So when you're on vacation and you actually have autonomy over your day, use the damn autonomy. Again, says the 23-year-old. But sometimes the youth have insights. Now there's a stock. Bro, Primo Brands, man. I'm gonna learn my lesson about private equity controlled companies one day. I don't think Primo Brands will be the dagger of that conviction. Or I hope not, at the least. It is funny though when the slide deck is just bragging about. We've got Poland Springs and other water brands that escape me. Now let's lever it 2 times and let's have at it, boys. That's what I'm saying. But it should work out. Yeah, it'll be fun. Again, walking around, eating, do the things that I like doing in my regular existence, but in a novel, different context. It'll be so nice. It's gonna be so great. Showing up, walking around the city on the first day, see a cute girl, instantly feel that pang of sadness and melancholy. And in that moment, we will know, I will know, this is my, you'll know. That'll be such a good moment. I will literally, now you might think, or like the bit is that it feels miserable. Or that it gives you, like you see a cute girl, you don't feel jazzed up, you just feel sad. You might think that's a negative, but in fact it's a positive. It means that you're feeling something. And then plus it is also just, you gotta feel something, you know? It's not, I can't tell you how many times I've been on the subway and it's literally all just middle-aged guys. They're like, dude, I know this is the town of bureaucrats, but so yeah, as soon as that happens, it's like, what do I need to know so what are the check marks for me to enjoy visiting a place? Food. Now there's some places I think that's a very easy one though, again, right? Because people like food. You need to eat food. So it tends to be kind of, if people exist there, this criteria should be met. Well, let's say food. It's a real city. There are some places that are artificial. And if the goal is just is to, however indirectly, however transient and for how inauthentic the experience is to experience how regular people live. Then you kind of need a place that is semi-authentic. That's 2. Third thing, walkability or transit. Again, if the United States is pretty car dependent, and it's not really fun to go to a place where you're stuck in a car all day, And then fourth, again, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and then the fourth is probably just, you do need to be able to feel the reason to slap yourself to face palm yourself, And so with that, I do think certain areas of the road are tougher in that regard. And with that, certainly on the last condition. Well, maybe actually not. I take that back. Parts of the Middle East, I guess it is a very duality of what goes and doesn't go. In terms of their standards. Okay, looky here, cop blocking intersection. But so I think most places. So with that, the idea is that most places fit the criteria. And then there just comes down to like how much effort is it worth. Now again, right? The point of travel is that road resistance is kind of the usual. You should be willing to take on a bit more hassle and all of that. But yeah, some places do seem like some parts of sub-Saharan Africa do look. Yeah, I will say, if by passively existing, there can be like health ramifications. That's a big no-no. So I think parts of the tropics where you can actually get so some parts of the tropics. Give some parts, give me pause. That's more of an infrastructure statement. But dude, again, those India. Now, like again, the travel logs they're asking for it. They are explicitly opting into it. I don't think I'd be that adventurous, but. But apparently India in the 90s was viewed as like the hip place to go, and nowadays it's lost a lot of that allure, it seems. So again, interesting how dynamics change. Fortunately, now all I'm thinking about is that Costco pizza I so bravely defended with my now sore ass. Dude. Broken windows, something. But should be a very pleasant experience. It'll be nice 70s in Buenos Aires. Nice t-shirts. No longer the sun will be up. Shouldn't be raining. It'll be nice. Santiago. Perfect non-humid 80. Take a bus out to the beach. Bam. That's a Viña del Mar or something. Nice. Now again, I think Santiago on a map just looks to have less variety than Buenos Aires. Part of that's, I think, just visually because it's much more arid. But I do think the neighborhoods are less less nuanced, but tis will be nice. So I just chill. Well, again, is going to a beach a touristy thing? Yeah. So maybe, but it's even more touristy to be in a tour of mountains. So, but I will say Almaty, Kazakhstan, bro, under the radar locale right there. So, be good stuff. Indeed. Oh, I just need to get through the weekend, make sure I do my prep, make sure I don't forget anything. No, I am raw dogging the flight. Avianca, this charming budget airline, only a personal item. So I have to get a separate backpack that's small, that meets the size requirements. Oh, look at this. Prince George's County. What a sight for sore eyes. LOL. Yeah. Dude, yeah. Yeah, the DMV is atypical from your regular American suburb existence because it's higher development, higher income, so it's just nicer. I do think this walk shows you what the like you look at this, like, again, this is a classic American setup. There's a huge archway of cars and non-interesting generic strip mall type places. Incredible. Increíble. How do you say living? How do you say built environment in Spanish? Oh, that'd be great. Okay. So now we have to make sure we can get to the metro. Hey Siri, what is built environment in Espanol? La. Yeah, it's gonna be scuffed, boys, but that's part of the charm, eh? Wouldn't have it any other way. Oh, civilization, man. Look at this. Nice brutalist architecture. I'll take it. I love it. Give me some post-Soviet stuff. Give me some the DC government building. You know? That's what I'm about. Well, I can't say I have a high desire to be back out here anytime soon, but you know, DMV is a big, diverse place. You can't have the Chevy Chase without the Anacostia, am I right? So,
the closet elitism I wish I could feel. But thanks for watching.